The lake was still until two armed men in fake uniforms stepped onto my family's property and told me I was the trespasser. They emerged from the tree line, weapons already drawn. Their jackets read HOA Cope. The lead man pointed his pistol straight at my heart. His partner moved to flank me, cutting off any retreat. "This is private HOA land," the first one stated, his voice flat and rehearsed. "You are ordered to vacate immediately." I stood my ground. "You're mistaken. This is my land, my grandfather's legacy." The second man's finger hovered near his trigger. "Not anymore. The HOA has claimed it. You have 10 seconds to comply before we detain you." Their fatal error wasn't pulling those guns. It was not knowing who they were pointing them at. They thought I was just another civilian to intimidate. They had no clue they were confronting a federal agent investigating a murder. Before we get into how this ended, let me know where you're joining from today in the comments. For Trending Tales Pulse, every view counts. To grasp why they'd go this far, you need context. My name is Alex Vance. I've spent 12 years with a federal agency. 3 months ago, my grandfather was found dead by this very lake. The official report called it a tragic fall. I knew better. He was a fighter, not a victim. So I took extended leave and moved into his cabin. I started digging. Every trail led back to one entity, the Cedar Ridge Homeowners Association, specifically to its board president, Diane Croft. She was notorious for aggressive land grabs and forged documents. My grandfather had been battling her for years over property lines and water rights. Weeks after his death, Diane filed papers claiming his acreage was under HOA control. The harassment began instantly. Fines for violations that didn't exist, midnight patrols circling my driveway, an eviction notice not mailed but stabbed into my front door with a hunting knife. And now this, 2 armed imposters on my shoreline. "Last chance," the lead enforcer growled, raising his cuffs. "Come peacefully." I took a slow step forward, my eyes never leaving his. "If you fire that weapon," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, "you'll answer for my grandfather's death as well." The flanking man inched closer, his boots crunching on gravel. I didn't retreat. Instead, I asked a simple question. "Why was my grandfather such a threat to you?" The lead man smirked. The old guy was stubborn, should have sold out. "And since when does a neighborhood association authorize lethal force?" I pressed. A flicker of panic crossed both their faces. They hadn't expected that question. The lead man recovered, snapping the cuffs open. "Turn around. You're under HOA arrest." He reached for my arm. That was his final mistake. I moved. I seized his wrist, twisted it inward, and drove my opposite elbow into his temple. He crumpled, dazed, his pistol clattering to the ground. The second man shouted, "Freeze," and fired. The shot went wide, splintering a tree behind me. I didn't freeze. I charged. We collided, grappling in the dirt. He fought to angle his gun toward me. I slammed his weapon hand against a stone outcrop until his grip broke. The pistol fell. I caught it, rolled to my feet, and aimed. He froze, eyes wide. I fired once. The round tore through his upper arm, spinning him to the ground with a scream. The first man was scrambling to his feet, trying to run. I tackled him, driving his face into the soft earth. I wrenched his arms behind his back and locked his own cuffs onto his wrists. He was pinned, breathless. "Please stop. She paid us. Diane paid us." My blood went cold. "Paid you for what?" "To deal with your grandfather. He wouldn't sign over the land. She wanted the shoreline for a private marina," he cried. "And you, she said if you wouldn't leave, we were to make you disappear too." The most expensive land is often paid for with blood. The wounded man groaned in the background. I pulled out my phone and made 2 calls. First, to my agency's rapid response line. This is Agent Vance. I have 2 armed hostiles, attempted homicide, direct link to an active homicide case. Send a team. Second, to the county sheriff. I have individuals impersonating law enforcement on federal interest property. Request immediate backup. The moment the cuffed man heard agent, he went limp. The other just stared, clutching his bleeding arm. "You're federal?" he stammered. I looked down at them. "You should have done your homework." I stood there, breathing steadily, as the distant wail of sirens cut through the forest quiet. "This time," I said, watching the first flashes of red and blue through the trees, "you don't get to walk away." If you're hooked on this story, hit that like button right now. It fuels the channel. For Trending Tales Pulse, your engagement decides what stories we tell next. A convoy of black SUVs arrived first, agents spilling out to secure the scene. County deputies followed, cordoning off the area. Medics loaded the wounded imposter onto a stretcher. He was still whimpering about being shot. A paramedic glanced at the injury. "Clean through and through, he'll live," he said flatly. The senior agent on scene, Mara, approached me. "Alex, talk to me." I handed her the miniature camera I wear in my belt. The footage showed the entire confrontation, the drawn guns, the threats, the confession about my grandfather. Her expression hardened in seconds. "Separate them. Interrogation starts now." The cuffed man broke almost immediately in the back of an SUV. "Diane told us to pressure the old man," he confessed, voice cracking. "We met him at the lake. He refused. There was a struggle. He fell, hit his head on the rocks. We panicked. Diane said to leave him, to make it look accidental. Then she ordered us to remove you by any means necessary." Mara turned to me. "There's your homicide." My hands clenched into fists. "Let's go," Mara said. The motorcade rolled straight to the Cedar Ridge HOA office. Neighbors watched, stunned, as federal agents entered the building. Diane Croft was in her office, reviewing blueprints with a satisfied smile. That smile vanished when she saw us. "What is the meaning of this? You can't just barge in here." Mara placed a digital recorder on her desk. "We have confessions implicating you in the death of Arthur Vance and the attempted murder of a federal agent." Diane's face went white. "This is outrageous. Those men are criminals. They're lying to save themselves." Mara pressed play. The wounded man's voice, weak but clear, filled the room. "Diane hired us. She wanted the land. She said the old man was in the way." That's edited. Fake." Diane shrieked, but the terror in her eyes was real. "Diane Croft, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, fraud, and impersonation of legal authority." She screamed and fought as they escorted her out in cuffs, her reign of terror finally over. In the weeks that followed, Diane received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Her hired hands received 25 years and 15, respectively. A federal judge dissolved the corrupt HOA. My grandfather's land was permanently placed into a protected trust, his legacy secured. Standing on the shore he loved, I felt a quiet closure. Justice, however delayed, had found its way. No piece of paper can justify a stolen legacy. This story is about more than land. It's about the lengths people go to for power in the moment their house of cards collapses. So what do you think? Was the outcome justified? What would you have done in my position? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more true stories of justice and consequence, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Trending Tales.